back towards Matthew Stafford on that play.
Ethan Evans, the punt. Ravens set to get good field position here. Tylan Wallace from the 25. Tylan Wallace breaks out of a tackle, takes it down the sideline. He stays in bounds. He stays on his feet. He takes it all the way and ends the game. There are no flags.
Who is that? Let's try.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another video. NFL Week 14, a bunch of big games, teams making that playoff push or trying to get into the playoffs. Right now, there's a 6-team tie for the 6th place in the AFC. Right now, that's the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills at 7-6, fighting for that 6th spot. There was a lot of big games on this week, and I'm gonna just highlight a few of the big ones, starting with the Chicago Bears versus the Detroit Lions. Let's talk about Jaquan Brisker, 17 tackles. Now, Jaquan, he has always been a ball hawk since he's been with the Bears. So, like, 17 tackles is definitely not unexpected by him. The Bears defense, I feel like this is the first game where everybody is playing together. Everybody has a good feel for the team. Tremaine Edmonds is definitely becoming that leader that we saw in Buffalo. And in the beginning of the season, I was like, what's going on, bro? Like, you missing easy tackles and stuff, but now he just making open field tackles and definitely handling business. Jalen Johnson has to be the best corner in the league. Each year, this man gets better. And this year, it's like people know who he is, and they're scared to throw him the ball. He only had one tackle, and he had a pick, but he only had one tackle because quarterbacks are scared to throw his way. It's like every game, he almost has an interception. Every game, he deflected the ball. So Jalen Johnson definitely has to be one of the best corners this year. The addition of Montez Sweat is helping us out tremendously, y'all. We finally got an edge rusher, and that's what I was saying in the beginning. We don't have like a major threat. If you look at past teams of the Bears, we always had a good edge rusher, a good linebacker, and maybe a safety or a corner. And that's what I feel like we have. Like, he was constantly getting pressure on Jared Goff, constantly in the backfield, just disrupting everything. So the addition of Montez Sweat, I really like that for the Bears. Justin Fields had a pretty complete day. He went 19 of 33, 233 yards, a touchdown, and 58 rush, and a touchdown as well. So Justin Fields is coming more of definitely what we saw. This is a game that he played like last year. I want to see him run more. And that's crazy to say because last year I was like, I don't want to see him run. But when he's on the scramble, that's when he's the most dangerous, when Justin Fields is running. So great victory by the Bears, 28-13. And the future is bright for the Bears. I feel like if the Bears went out, it's a lot that needs to happen for the Bears to go to the playoffs. But the future is definitely bright in Chicago. Baltimore Ravens versus the LA 37-31 game ended in overtime. Going into this game, I thought that the Ravens was going to handle business, but the Rams, they showing some fight this year. They still got a lot of people from their Super Bowl team, so they still know how to win. Matthew Stafford still slinging that mob. He had 3 touchdowns and 294 yards. Lamar Jackson has to be my MVP this year. I feel like all of the quarterbacks that got that big money, he's the only quarterback that's actually producing at a high level right now. He had 316 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 70 rush. You know what I'm saying? That's expected from Lamar. These are Lamar numbers. Him and OBJ finally starting to hook up. He had 4 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. What's scary about this team is now Baltimore, we know Baltimore gonna have a defense. But if this offense can get it going and these receivers can catch the ball, it's over with. You know, if Lamar continue these numbers, Baltimore gonna be scary, y'all. Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs, y'all. A lot of these games are back in blood. When the Bills, I'm sure when they looked at their schedule, they circled the Chiefs in red. Like, I can't wait to get to week 14 to prove ourselves and to get back at Mahomes. You know, Mahomes been handling these boys in the playoffs for the past 2 years. So I'm pretty sure that the Bills was looking forward to this game. So the Bills come out strong, literally strong they first drive. You know, Josh Allen powering it in. You know, that looked like me back in high school, I swear to God. But they come out strong. And then, of course, we got to talk about the refs. We got to talk about that last second play. Was he offsides? Yes. Kadarius, yes, you was offsides, my boy. But was that some schoolyard stuff? Heck yeah. You know, like you should know better to be on sides, especially for a play like that, and it being late in the game. I'm gonna make sure that I'm lined up on side. Let's hear what Mahomes had to say about the refs in the last second play.
I mean, obviously tough to swallow. I mean, not only for me, but just for football in general. I mean, just to take away greatness like that. I mean, for a guy like Travis to make a play like that, and who knows if we win. But as I know, as fans, you want to see the guys on the field decide the game. And that's why last week I didn't say anything about the flag that didn't get called on the Marquez. And so, I mean, they're human, man. They make mistakes, but I mean, it's every week we're talking about something, and all I can do is go out there and give everything I have. And I'm proud of the guys because that's what we did, and it was a great football game that ended. Another great football game that just ended like that. It's just tough to swallow.
Patrick, what do you, lack of a better term, what made it boil over? Was it that itself, or was it
It's the call, man. Just in that moment, I mean, it's not even for myself or for me. It's just I know how much everybody puts into this game, and for it to happen on a flag change the outcome of a game. In that moment, I mean, I've played 7 years, never had offensive offsides called. I mean, that's elementary school. We talk about. I mean, you point to the ref, do all that different type of stuff, and it doesn't get called. And if it does, they warn you. And there was no warning throughout the entire game. And then you wait till there's a minute left in the game to make a call like that. It's tough, man.
Most frustrated I've probably ever seen Pat be. He always a cool guy, you know, funny guy, but you never see him really frustrated or going against his coach, yelling at his coach and stuff like that. But he was pissed. The refs have been making boneheaded mistakes this year, putting games on the line like they just did here. And Andy Reid, he has something to say about the officialing too.
It was a heck of a football game down to the end. Very disappointed that it ended the way it did. And normally I'll get, I never use any of this as excuses, but normally I get a warning before something like that happens in a big game. A bit embarrassing in the National Football League for that to take place.
I remember back when I was playing football, definitely you would get warned. I remember when I played receivers, the official come up, hey, you offsides again, I'm gonna throw a flag. Usually refs would give you a warning before they throw a flag like that, especially on the offsides lined up. If that play would have stood, that would have been crazy, because the crazy part about that, I don't think anybody noticed, Kadarius Newton was like freaking mad because he didn't get the ball because he was so wide open. And he was just like out of it, and he just picked his head up and just caught the ball, was dead in his hands. So like, I'm pretty sure everybody ain't see that. So, but that would have went down as like one of the craziest plays ever. And that definitely would have put a damper on the Bills' season, and they probably wouldn't have been in the playoffs. But crazy finish. The Bills handle business as usual. Like I said, y'all, a lot of these games are back in blood, y'all. Now, it's time for us to start putting some respect on the Cowboys, y'all. I like what the Cowboys did against the Eagles. Their defense is for real. Game let me know, like, and the Eagles, they not no scrubs. We know the Eagles, but the Cowboys defense is for real. And we got to start considering the Cowboys for real this year, y'all. The Eagles, they coming off 2 back-to-back losses. Cowboys and the 49ers, like, circled Eagles back in blood and red. So the Eagles, they just went up against some teams that really wanted to show that, hey, we not the same team as last year. Hurts was under pressure a lot in this game. Cowboys defense was on his back pocket, the whole time. And I feel like Hurts, he really couldn't get in his usual rhythm. Those running plays wasn't working. I'm just so proud of the Cowboys defense, y'all, and how they handled this game. Dak has to be my second MVP to Lamar Jackson. Dak has been playing great, and I feel like, what more can you say about Dak? Like, Dak, last year everybody would talk mess about him, but this year, what y'all got to say about him now? They finally got a defense behind him, but put some respect on the Cowboys. Cowboys take that win 33-13. Monday night doubleheader. I don't think we ever had a Monday night doubleheader this late in the season, but hey, I'll take it. Double football. First with the Tennessee Titans versus the Miami Dolphins. Tennessee scratches out a win, fought real hard, 28-27. This game, I want to say, for Will Levis, started out terrible with a pick 6 and then gets flattened by the D lineman. gets flattened by the D lineman, but takes that and uses it to his advantage, going 23 of 38 and 327 passing yards, 1 TD. Him and D-Hop seemed to connect with 7 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Derrick Henry, of course, King Henry gonna be King Henry. Go wherever he want. 17 attempts, 34 rush, 2 touchdowns. They used him a lot in the red zone this game. So, and they had him contain Miami defense, so he wasn't really running over everywhere. Tyreek Hill gets hurt and then comes back. Gets a crazy horse collar tackle, but he a soldier. He gonna come back out. Tua had a little trouble with containing the ball, having 2 fumbles on the night, and he pretty much couldn't get into a rhythm. Tennessee's defense played surprisingly well, and then let's go to the second doubleheader. Green Bay Packers versus New York Giants. Green Bay is somewhat having a turnaround season. Didn't start out well. They're second in the NFC North and fighting for a potential playoff spot. And this win would put them in a position to get that playoff spot. But the New York Giants, they got other plans, The DeVito family. I love this. Tommy DeVito, hometown kid. It means a lot more when you playing for your hometown. When you grew up around the stadium. He went 17 of 21, 150 pass, 70 rush. Watching this dude, this was my first time actually seeing him out, seeing some highlights and stuff. But he can move. He pretty athletic. Y'all might have another quarterback out there, New York. Saquon Barkley, just being Saquon, 20 rush, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tommy DeVito, towards the end of the game, made some big throws. In the second half, he only missed 1 throw, going 10 of 11. And handling business on a Monday night in front of the home crowd. Can't get much better than that. A lot of these 4-7 teams going into this week showed that they want to play too. They still got something to fight for at 4-7 or 4-8. They want to win just as much as you. And a lot of these teams that were in the top seat this week, I feel like a lot of them slept. Like the Chiefs, like Miami, they just slept. And Baltimore, they almost slept, but they come through with a punt return and get that. But a lot of these teams, the bigger teams this week, slept and they got slapped in the mouth. And I feel like a lot of these teams, those top playoff teams this week, they needed that butt whooping before we go into the playoffs, so they can wake up. Week 14 had full of excitement. With only a few more weeks left, teams looking to make that playoff push. Week 15 kicks off with Thursday night football. LA Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders, with the final score 63-21. Some other key games to look for in week 15: the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Indianapolis Colts, Both teams are 7-6, fighting for a playoff spot. Then we got the Denver Broncos versus the Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears versus the Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys versus the Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Monday night's first fixed game, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Seattle Seahawks, y'all. So let me know if y'all team is in the hunt for the playoffs. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe.